Hello and welcome back for lesson 2.4. In 2.3, we looked at how to make the median and the location of center of using percentiles. And so now in 2.4, we're going to actually learn how to make a box plot with that 5-number summary that I introduced in 2.3. And so pretty much all of this lesson is just going to be getting you familiar with how to use Desmos for these things. So let's go ahead and share my screen. So this is the paper that you should have printed out if you did print out the data. The link for the Desmos for this lesson is in Canvas as well, which should be helpful for you when you go to, I would save that in your own Desmos account. And that way you can go back to how to make box plots when you're working on your assignments. So a box plot, also called a box and whisker plot, give a good graphical image of the concentration of the data. Kind of shows you how the data is spread out, visually where the min and the max are. And so it says they display visually the 5-number summary, the min, the max, the Q1, Q2, the median, and the Q3. It is important to start a box plot with a scaled number line. Otherwise, a box plot may not be useful. So the first data set that we're going to look at is right here. The following data are the number of pages in 40 books on a shelf. Construct a box plot using a graphing calculator and state the interquartile range. So we're going to go and look at that in Desmos. You can see in the Desmos link that I put for this lesson, click on the folder and open. You can see that they're all closed, but if you click on them, they will open. It says books on a shelf. And you'll probably have to actually turn the box plot on and off. So notice over here on the left, if the circle is not colored in, then you won't be able to see that graph. So if I click on box plot, this one I've already set up to be on the correct scaling. So I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So the box plot shows a few things. In your notes, you will see that you can mark here. It looks like each of the dashes, it goes from 200 to 300, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces in between them. So that means 100 spaces divided by 5 would be 20. So each of these are worth 20. So it looks like the minimum is over here on the left, and that's 20, 40, 60. So it's at about 139 looks like our minimum, and you can see that in the data. 136 is our minimum. And then the left side of the rectangle, okay, the rectangle is our interquartile, is the Q3 minus Q1. And so this is going to be our min, this is going to be our Q1, this is our median. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And then this is our Q3. And then over here, this is going to be our max on this far end. And so you can see these markings here. So this is basically our 5-number summary in a picture form, which is amazing. I also provided for you in the Desmos link how to come up with those values numerically. So if you type stats and then the column of data that you're using, we're using X1, then your min, Q1, median, Q3, and max will come up for you. Okay, I'm going to click on that to turn that off, and I'm going to close that folder. The next example we're going to look at is the next try it. It is the heights in inches for the boys in a class of 40 students, and then also the heights in inches for the girls in a class of 40 students. It asked us to construct a box plot using a graphing calculator for each data set and state which box plot has the wider spread for the middle 50% of the data. So I'm going to go ahead and open that data set. And you can see I put them together. So X2 is the boys, Y2 is the girls. And then I had to do 2 separate box plots down below. So the first one is for the boys. The purple is the boys. And notice it looks really scrunched together for me because the scaling is still set up from the first example. So notice when I hover over here to the left, do you see that? It's a magnifying glass and it says zoom fit. So I'm going to click on that. And what it does is it creates the scale that will fit our data that we're looking at currently. And then I'm going to click on the box plot for the girls, and that one's in black. And so it looks like the girls IQR, I'm going to write this on my paper. The girls is in black. The girls, the Q3, so the IQR for the girls, the Q3 minus Q1. Q3 looks like it's at 68 minus, and it looks like these must go by half. So 62 and a half, 63, 63 and a half, 64. So 63 is the Q1. So the IQR is 5 for the girls. And for the boys, the IQR, Q3 minus Q1. It looks like their Q3 is at 72. And I'm going to turn off the girls for a minute so I can see that. And then the Q1 is at 68. So 72 minus 68, which is 4. I'm going to turn those off for a minute. And then I'm going to share my paper so you can see. They did ask us which box plot has the wider spread for the middle 50%. The middle 50%, remember, is the IQR. And it looks like the girls has a little bit bigger IQR spread than the boys. Okay. Going back real quick, I think I just noticed that we did not do the IQR for the number of books, pages in a book on a shelf. So let's go back to that. I want to make sure we cover that. So the IQR for the number of pages on a book on a shelf, the Q3 is 395 and the Q1 is 237. And so that difference is 158. Okay. The last example is this data set here. Let me go ahead and share my screen, my paper, so we can go back to that. So it says it's just a set of data, and we're just going to practice making another box and whisker plot for the data. And the data goes from 0 to 330, so it's a very large, kind of wild and crazy data set. So let's just go and look at that. So in this lesson, it's all about making the box plot and getting that 5-number summary. And so we're going to click on the box plot. You would just type box plot of and then put in the column that you're doing. And I'm going to click on my zoom fit on my magnifying glass so it adjusts it. So you can see this one is a great one to see that it has an outlier out here to the right. And it's definitely what we're going to call later skewed right, because see how this is pulled so far. There's some weird data here that's very large compared to the rest of the data. So catch me back for lesson 2.5. We're going to look at a couple other measures of center besides the median.